What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about powder painting and just powder painting specifically. I wanted to put some videos out that are specific to the different steps in the process of making your own jigs, making your own tackle. So in this video we're talking about powder painting. Pretty simple process, but it's very important when it comes to the tackle making process. So we're going to talk about how to get the lead hot to get that powder paint to melt on there, and then also how to bake so that way that powder paint gets nice and hard and much more durable, because if not, it'll chip off real easily and then you're going to be really upset when your jigs and the paint is not lasting as long as you want. But like I said, it's a simple process, so stay tuned, check it out. I hope it's entertaining for you. I hope you learned something. Please give me a subscribe if you like my channel, and like the video if you like it, and drop me a comment if you have any questions down below, or if you just wanted to say what's up. So let's get into it. Powder painting, let's go. Okay, so we are ready to paint. This is a fluid bed right here, and what this does is there's a fish tank air pump that pumps air into these hoses that go into the fluid bed, and it just keeps the powder paint that's inside this cup, this green pumpkin powder paint, it keeps it nice and loose, so that way the paint goes on there much easier. And what we're going to do is we got to heat up our lead with this heat gun, which then we put the lead into the powder paint, and the powder paint melts onto our lead. So the first jig that we're going to paint is this stand-up football jig. I like to leave the base hole pin inside the jig when I paint. Some people take it out, but when you take it out, the powder paint will fill up the hole that was created by the base hole pin. So I like to paint it, and then right after I paint it, while the paint's still wet, I'll take this base hole pin out with a pair of pliers, just like so, and then I will let it dry. Okay, so we got our base hole pin back into our jig. So we're gonna turn on the heat gun, and we're gonna let it heat up for a little bit, and then we will put our jig head into the heat that's coming out of this heat gun, and then I like to rotate it back and forth to get the jig head nice and warm. And you want it to be warm all over, because if not, then that paint doesn't get melted on there evenly. So we'll just keep it on there, and about a 20 count is good for a ½ ounce jig, but since I just turned on the heat gun, it's probably gonna take a little bit longer. So we're gonna check and see if that's good. So we'll go over to our fluid bed. We're gonna dip this in, turn it around, get the extra off, and it's a little bit dull because of it not being hot enough, so we'll just put it back over here and melt it down a little bit more, and then we have our finished jig head that's now painted. So now I've got one of our standard football jigs, and in the last jig I didn't take the base hole pin out for you guys on camera, so I'll do that on this one. So we're gonna put this jig on for about a 20 count, and then we'll dip it into our powder paint. So we'll see, that should be good. So we'll go over to our fluid bed, we'll dip this in, dab off that extra, and then what we're gonna do now is take this base hole pin out, just like so, set it down, and then there you have it, you got a painted jig. Okay, so all of our jigs are ready to go into the oven to bake, and the reason you want to bake these in the oven is to cure that powder paint to the jig head. It makes it much more durable. Okay, so literally all I do is lay these, or set these into the toaster oven that I have out in the garage, and hang them upside down. That's not the best way to do it, but that's the way that I do it, and as long as you don't get too much powder paint on your jig heads, you won't have any issues with hanging them upside down. They do make some different tools that you can buy that allow you to put these upright, so that way if the paint does start to move at all while it's in there curing, it'll go down the shank of the hook rather than off the top of the jig head. But this is what I'm working with, and it's working for me, so it'll probably work okay for you as well. So I got this set at 350 for about 20-25 minutes. Well, like I said at the beginning of the video, pretty simple process. I hope it answered all of the questions that you had. It made you click on this video, or if you've already seen stuff like this, hopefully it was entertaining for you. Please give me a subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I got a lot more content coming your guys' way, so stay tuned for that. Please like the video if you liked it, and if you have any questions, make sure to comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. See ya.